Hello, everyone. It's nice to meet everyone in the Top Center in the English seminar. And so today I'll be covering a little bit about the Success Guidebook. And so our Diamond Master Daniel will be doing the translation for today. And so this is going to be like a little serious, maybe a once a month, and hopefully that I can share with you guys. So today we'll be talking about the Success System Guidebook. It's the title will be the 100 Days, $1,000 Operation. And so it's a good idea to try to even aim for a semi-sales master, uh, hopefully within 30 days to about halfway through. And so why we need to do Atomy is very important. And so in order to understand why, we need to have something to compare to. And so let's compare it to the conventional workplace, those who work and own their own business. And so before I did Atomy, this is the kind of job I did as well. And so now compared to this businesses and those jobs, what makes it different from Atomy's business? And I think by understanding that, can we understand the value? And so in order to do any sort of self-employed business, you need capital, you need technology, you need networking, experiences are required, and you also need luck. And even if you have all of those, if you meet something like the pandemic, then all of these things can become pretty much useless. And so if you work in a corporate job, then you might need some experience or technology, but it can be very difficult to succeed long term in these jobs. But in Atomy, you don't need any capital, you don't need any stores, you don't even need any experience. And so you don't need any of these three things to start Atomy, which can allow for you to have a easier time starting your business. And so in these kind of conventional workplaces and self-employed businesses, they have high risk and high return. And so many of these self-employed, they spend a lot of investments to start their business so that they can make a lot of sales. And that is what they're hoping for. And so they might have some success, but it's very hard to last for a long time. And so even for myself, I had an internet venture business, and it was very hard. In the beginning, we were expecting high return, and only after 3 years was I expecting high return. And I thought it would come out infinitely, but then competitors came out, and then the environment and the economy changed, and so it made me have to switch to a different kind of business. And so even though it was high risk and you expect high return, but there's more times than not that you're only having to take on the high risk, but you don't actually make any sort of high return. But in Atomy, there's no risk, but there's high return. And so in the very beginning, there's no kind of big capital commitment. You don't even have to open a store or have any big experience. But the return on investment is very big. And so in the very beginning, when I started a few months later, I was able to make $1,000, and then it moved up to $2,000. And now I'm making more than $10,000 easily a month. And so you're receiving a very high return to the point that you feel like, oh, do I truly deserve this? And over time, this high return actually increases a lot more. And so there's truly no reason for us to risk a lot in these kind of self-employed business when we can do Atomy. And so these kind of corporate jobs or self-employed jobs or businesses, you are continuously working, and your income is dependent on your labor, right? So this is a temporary labor, right? And so you might work, you might want to work, but you're fired from your job. You might want to work, but you can't because you injured yourself. And so it can be very difficult. But we are a system income business, and it will allow for us to continuously be able to receive income as long as you're able to build up this amazing system. And so the last thing is that you need to do a lifetime of labor for those who are in this field. But for Atomy, if you're able to work hard, then you can retire within 3 to 5 years. And this can come from anywhere from 3 to 5 years if you truly work hard. And I think that with these 4 reasons, it's really great to try to pursue Atomy. And so many people who start this labor income, they make maybe 3,000 to 7,000 per month, and we want to continue to stay that way. But in between, your income might diminish, right? And so after you are let go from your first job, the second job, is once you reach around 70, then your income will no longer be there. And our life expectancy is about 83 years old, and we have to live till then, and it's going to be very difficult. But for those who have a system income, they might not make a lot in the very beginning, and equates to a lot of time and hard work. But after a certain point passed, then you'll be able to overcome the amount of money that a labor income will be able to make. And so it allows for a very big difference from those who are in a labor income and a system income when it's time for us to retire. And so those who are in a labor income, once they hit retirement, it is a very difficult time until they reach their life expectancy. But those who have a system income, this time will become like heaven. And I hope that you guys can remember this. And so in order to understand Atomy's value, we need to be able to compare it. And so let's say we are standing in this point. And so those who are working in their labor income job, this is working for the present. So like your means of livelihood, to provide your food, for your hobbies, for meeting your friends and family. This is the money that you're making for the current present. And we spend a lot of time to try to make up for this. And so for Atomy, we are working for the future. And that is one $100 bill. And so which one is going to be more valued, the $100 bill or the $1 bill? Obviously the $100 bill. But those who don't understand the true value, such as children, if you could give them the two options, and so if you give a child $100 bill, and then you show them the two $1 bills and ask them to switch it, and they will switch it because they got two $1 bills. And so that's the kind of image I think of when those who choose labor income over Atomy's business. And so Atomy is truly a business for the future, but those of us who are not able to see past the present can miss out on an opportunity. And so let us not go towards the present direction, but change your direction to the future. And so I made a calculation for the value of Atomy business. And so I said that if I did Atomy for about 3 years, I can make about 10,000 per month. And so then what is the value after making 10,000 per month? In 1 year, you make about 120,000. In 10 years, you make 1.2 million. And we allow for 3 generations to be given for code inheritance. And so you receive for about 30 years, let's say on average, then you receive about 3.6 million. And then your second generation will also make 3.6 million if it doesn't increase. And then your third generation will also receive 3.6 million. That means you'll receive overall 10 million from 3 generations. And that means that within the span of Atomy, as long as it doesn't go bankrupt, for 100 years, you're making around $10 million. And so let's say you make 50,000 per month. Then up to third generation, you'll be making 50 million. If you make 100,000 per month, then after the third generation, you'll make 100 million in terms of total income. Isn't that truly a big value? And so we might just think of it as a small amount if we just think of it as 10,000 per month. But if we compound and add it all up, then it really shows the true value of how much it's worth. And so Atomy's business is truly valuable. And so let's say the first top pictures is the labor, right? So those people who are picking up the water from the well, and they go back and forth from their house every day. But then once you're able to have this pipe installed in your house, you no longer have to go all the way to the well to get the water. You just turn on the faucet and you receive the water. And so it's a form of the picture on the left is the Jacob's well. It's about 50 meters deep. And so Jacob actually dug this hole and gave it to his children. And this was still there when Jesus was there. And so Jesus gave water to the Samaritan woman. And this is where the story was. And that well is still there if you go to Israel. And on top of the well, a church was built. And so in that well, the water was continuously coming infinitely. And so just like that, we have a spring water that never dries up. Or we even have like a goose that lays a golden egg that you probably read about in a storybook. And so Adam is like this goose that lays this golden egg. And so we have to treat it well and we can pass it on to our children. And so let's talk about the 5 birds with 1 stone that Atomy covers. You can first save from your living expense. You can also make your face become prettier. Your body also gets healthier, especially for myself and my family. We definitely experienced this from the hemoim and the various health supplements. My wife also had surgery because of cancer, so received a lot of help from the Atomy products. And so those around me also, I realized that through Atomy, their body was getting healthier as well. And so that's the kind of true value Atomy has. And it also has the ability to make you rich with money and freedom of time. And it's a business that makes a family prosperous from the generation to generation with the code inheritance. And so we're receiving 5 benefits with just 1 stone in Atomy's business. And so in order for Atomy to go to 3 generations, it needs to last for 100 years. And so what are the reasons, right? We can't just expect Atomy to last that long. We need actual rules. And so there's 3 conditions for a successful network marketing. And the first thing is that we need to be able to have products being able to be purchased on a daily basis. Because once those products become obsolete and no one wants to purchase it, the same thing will happen to the company. And so this is possible because of Atomy's absolute quality and absolute price. And the second thing is that the Atomy's number of products have to increase. So when I started, it was 50 products. Now there are 500 products. And so with the GSGS system and the ASAMAL, it's allowing for that to be possible. And the members also have to increase. And so many of these other MLM businesses, the members are only fixed to that country. But for us, because we have a global one marketing, it allows for members to be included all over the world. And so you need to have a marketing plan that includes all 3 of these for the business to last all the way to the end. And so Atomy is the only business that has had all 3 of these conditions met. So there's 3 non-requirements. So there's no subscription fees and entry fees, no monthly maintenance fees or level limits. And there's 3 also benefits. There's a customer satisfaction guaranteed system and a commission ceiling cap, which allows for everyone to reach the top together. And the third is the infinite level with the global one marketing. And so which allows for Atomy to continue to strive for success. And so there's a mobile platform business that we all know, like Kakao, Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, Coupang. And so the self-employed companies or manufacturers connect them with these consumers, and whatever is sent, these people keep the majority of the sales. And so Atomy made this global platform, and they work together with the distributors and connect it with the consumers. It's similar, but then now they share the profit between the 2, which is the 35% of the sales generated. And so people like us, we're consumers, can work together with Atomy to coexist and generate income. And so as long as the company doesn't disappear, the profit is continuously going to be shared. And so it's very different from the consumers up top. We are consumers and we are members, and we are utilizing the platform and be able to share and in the profit that the company makes. And so workplace and self-employed businesses that ordinary people were engaged in were the income of lifelong labor. And through Atomy, we can continuously obtain system income that only the rich had. And the reason is that in the existing platform business, most of the profits are monopolized by the platform company, whereas Atomy takes 35% of the sales from the global shopping platforms. And this is because of the profit distributed structure centered on consumers and members. So now while we're doing this business, we start so we succeed. And so there's a road that we have to take to succeed. And so I call this the highway to success or the road to success. And so let's say we're going from Seoul to Busan. It's about 400 kilometers. And so there's many roads to get there. The fastest road to get there is the highway. And so just turn on the navigation and just follow that road. That's the fastest road to get there. And there's no sort of accidents or problems. And so Atomy has also done the same, which is the Success Academy, the global seminar, one-day seminar, and the teamwork system. And so in order to succeed, you need to ride the system and duplicate the system. And so if you're able to ride these highway very well, you can switch from first to second or third lane, and we just have to not exit the highway. And even though it might take some time, we're able to reach the destination. And so instead of the speed, the direction is the most important. The speed is good, but having the right direction is what truly matters. And so following the navigation to success is important. And so what is the system? So we have this grapevine, right? We have these grapes here are attached to the vines, and they're attached to which allows for them to be plugged in and generate that delicious grapes. But if we step away and try to go our own way, right? And try to go your own way or my way, then over time you're going to dry up like these dead, fruitless grapes. And so there's a very big difference to doing it through the system and your own way. And so there's a clear direction when you do it in the system. When you do it your own way, you're going to experience a lot of trial and error. And so there was someone who climbed a mountain, but they realized that they climbed the wrong mountain, so they had to go back down and then climb another mountain, realize it's the wrong one as well. And so if we want to succeed and save time, we should not experience these frequent trials and error. And so that's why the system is important. And if there's a clear direction, then there's less conflict and quarreling and less fighting. And so from the very beginning, you could allow for people to, let's not fight, let's give compliments instead and guide through the system. But if it's your own way, and just like, oh, you can go your own way, then we're not a successful people in the beginning, and we just acting out in our own way, then we're gonna fight and have conflicts. And so there's less fighting, then it allows for your strong business organization and a stable and big growth. But because you keep fighting and by doing it your own way, you'll have poor organization, and then you won't really have any growth and always up and down in your business. And so by doing it your way, you won't really have any true growth. And so you need to have fast growth, reduce trial and error, stable growth with teamwork. And if you do that, then you're going to have fun and it's going to be rewarding, which will allow for big growth and global duplication. And especially through the global lines, you need system. And so we need to repeat our successful habits. And so just like how a bird flaps its wings, in order for the bird to live, they need to continue to flap its wings. And just like that, it became a habit ever since they were young so that they live and survive. And that becomes a habit. And so through repetition, it'll open up your mind and it'll become natural. We're changing our life by stacking those habits. And so there is a psychologist from America, William James, that when thoughts change, action change. When behavior change, habits change. When habits change, personality change. And when you change your personality, your destiny will change. And another person named Albert Gray said that successful people have developed the habits of doing things others don't want to do. And it's not like they like it either. It's just that there is a clear sense of purpose that pushes back their likes and dislikes. And so because they did things, even if they didn't like it, which allowed for them to build habit and succeed. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the 7 cores. And so we had the 8 steps to success, but we have these 7 cores for successful habit, and we just have to repeat it. And steps 1 to 5 is something we need to repeat daily. And step 6 and 7 is management, which is to consult and to duplicate. And so the habits come from step 1 and 2, which is to love the products and attend the meetings. And this is something that has to be done on your own. No one can do this for you. And steps 3, 4, and 5, which is to create the consumer, explain the business, and sponsorship. This is something you do together as a team, not by yourself. And so there are people who are doing this 3, 4, and 5 by themselves. Steps 1 and 2 you need to do on your own. And you should do it for about 100 days with a concentrated training, and then you move over to 3, 4, and 5. And so if you're not prepared from step 1 and 2 properly, many people will give up sometimes in steps 3, 4, and 5 after experiencing some rejection. And so let's take the proper steps and build the right habits. And I hope that you keep the proper procedures. And so there's a saying that don't walk recklessly on snowy roads. And that's because you can't see what direction to go and if it's safe because it's covered in snow. And so if you just walk without proper direction and knowing if there's a cliff or not, then you will fall down and the person behind you will also follow you and follow into the same steps. And so you need to follow the right direction and go one step at a time towards that direction. And so let us do this based on the 7 cores. And so there's a beginner business owners, and there's something that they need to do, which is to have the product experience step. And so don't be picky about the products, at least the minimum of 100 Atomy products, and allow them to change their products at home. The second step is to attend the meetings and make it a habit to attend online and offline meetings, such as like the Good Morning Academy and so forth. And the step 3 is the break business practice steps. And so this is something that you need to do on your own, where you need to understand how to manage your line and how to grow. Otherwise, if you keep leaving it to your sponsor, you won't be truly able to do your business. So these 3 things is a must. And so let's head to session 1 and talk about our dreams and goals. And so we need to build your dream. And so one of the tallest buildings in the world is in Dubai, which is called the Burj Khalifa. And it has 163 floors with 2 basements and a meter height of 828 and cost about $4 billion US dollars. And so do you think that they just built it without any proper plans? No, they needed a proper plan, right? How many are they going to build? How are the structures, the base? You need all of that. And that is the dream building. And so if we don't have that blueprint, it's going to be very difficult. Many people can't succeed because they don't have that blueprint. So when they build it, then suddenly they'll have some issues, then their building will collapse. And so you need to think about why you need to build this, how many floors you're going to build, and why you need to make this money. And so you need to understand that before you begin. And so there's a kind of way to set your dreams and goals. So be specific. And so the sincerity is the key, and being specific is really important. And so when where, why, be specific about your goals and your emotions. Like, oh, by this time for my parents, I want to do this because I truly care and want the best for them. And so you have to think, is this goal truly something that you're desperate for? And so when I first wrote this goal, I had a very hard time because I never thought about it. I just made it simple, like one, BMW, Mercedes. Second, big house. And I couldn't even think of the third one. And so we need a very specific goal, but most of us don't think about it. So please write a sincere and specific goal. And this is number two, is to write down what you have to pay in sort of the price and what you have to bear. So let's say you're a housewife. And so it's things like making food for your children, taking care of them, or making food for your husband. Those kind of things you need to pay the price and cut down on them in order for you to do this business. And so let's say you have a job, then instead of going out to meet with your friends on the weekends or going out to drink, instead you sacrifice those times to invest into doing Atomy. And that is the kind of paying the price that you need to do. And so the next thing is to be specific in your achievement periods, right? When you're going to achieve them. And you need to now visualize it. Let's say you want to buy a BMW or a Benz, Mercedes-Benz, or a Tesla. Then you need to cut it out and then you can stick it on your wall. Or like you're going to travel in Europe or a cruise vacation, then cut it out and place it in so that you can visualize it. And so the fifth thing is that you repeat every day, you read it and reflect on those goals. And by doing that, you can make it your own. So steps 1 to 5, try those out for yourself. And so what are the advantages of what we can do in terms of doing Atomy business? And by understanding that, can we truly become successful? And so be inspirational through your consumer life. And you might think that this is obvious from step 1, but when my wife had cancer and had surgery, this step 1 was something very important. So before I just consume whatever I want, but after my wife got sick, I realized that we were consuming whatever we want without taking care of our body, and that might have allowed for my wife to get sick, such as like these fast food and junk food. But for Atomy, it constantly gives us products that are really healthy and good with high quality. And so we need to continuously compare what we're buying from the supermarkets and what's out there to see if it's safe to consume and what they're providing is the top quality. And so the second thing is to build your system income. Makes it your benefit. And third is to have a human relation business. Because as humans, we are social creatures. It's not just enough for us to be rich. Even our friends, if we meet with them and we have a big difference in terms of lifestyle, then they might feel very insecure about their wealth because you're richer than them and won't try to spend time with you. But with an Atomy, your sponsors, your partners, your brother lines, we are all going in the same direction and all going to end up with that kind of rich lifestyle. And so we can pass this on to our children as well. And so Atomy is going to be a lifelong job because there's no retirement. And so do you know that it's actually truly exciting and happy thing to not be able to retire? There's people who've retired 50 years old, 60 years old. They've felt very sad because the job that they had before, they needed them. But now that they're let go, they end up doing some other jobs that they don't really have any interest in or passion for. They become cleaners or teachers. And so when it makes them rethink the life that they chose, and I've met many people like that. And so now you'll never need to retire and you can always have something to do if you want to work. And the last thing is that you are a missionary of dreams and hopes. The dreams that you've dreamed of and you're able to achieve them and become successful, then you can become other people's role models. It's like, oh, you're having a hard time. I've succeeded through this amazing business and also increased and become healthy and lived a much better life. And so you can teach people and share to people. Once we know about Atomy and able to understand that we are using a high quality and amazing price product, we can easily have that motivation to share. And so please share with them. Those who feel like they've reached the end of their life, they have no other hope, let them understand that there is still a chance. And so let's build this sheet or form. And so the current me, how much money I'm currently spending on shopping and how much I want to spend in the future. And so, for me, I have around the spending dream around 5,000 per month. And so you think that, oh, think of it as like you're making $100,000 and then write that down. So let's say habits, currently how much you're spending on your habits, and then how much you want to spend in your future, and then your current travel, your future travel spending, and cars, your house, your pocket money for your spouse, your parents, your children, and your offerings and donations, etc., and anything else you want to add. And so the current you and then the future you that you want to do without thinking about the money and write down the final result of when you're able to reach the goals that you set. And this is going to constantly change. So write it down again after a few months and then another few months pass and write it again. And next is to visualize your dreams. And so write it down, right? Make a picture or draw a picture or print a picture and write down the things that you want and paste and then put this on your wall. And so having that visualization is very important because it allows for us to make it real in our own mind and heart, right? If we just only say it, we won't really realize it. But if we say it and see it with our eyes and continue to repeat that, then it truly will become a reality. And by doing that, this dream will become real. And so next is to write your Atomy goal for mastership and your income. And so we have 7 different masterships, and we also have our Leaders Club members. And so we first start from semi-sales master. And so this is after you decided to do Atomy. And so after you started to do Atomy, 3 months after, you try your attempt at semi-sales. And so you get estimated around $500 if you do it once in that month. If you do it bi-weekly, then you would have made $1,000. And then you write down when you achieve this. And then after 3 months later, try Sales Master and then Auto Sales Master, and then continue to do that as a pattern. So Sales Master you can do once. Auto Sales Master you can do about twice a month or once a month. Diamond Master and Auto Sales Master, Diamond Master, same thing. And Leaders Club, and which you make around 10,000 a month. And then Star Master, or you can also become a Star Master while becoming a Leaders Club member. Or you could also become a Sharon Rose Master while becoming a Leaders Club. And after that, you become an Auto Sharon Rose Master. And so by becoming that, that's a very big stepping stone to become a Royal Leaders Club. And so if you become an Auto Sharon Rose Master, then you make about 108,000 per year. And after you become a Royal Club member, you can become a Royal Master afterwards. And after you become a Royal Master, you can become an Auto Star Master. Or you can become an Auto Star Master while becoming a Royal Master. And once you're an Auto Star Master, can you become a Crown Club member? And after you become a Crown Club, you can become a Crown Master. And an Imperial Master is the last step. And so let's say that you're aiming for that within 10 years or 15 years. But once you start to set this goal, you can start to uh, climb this stair. And so try challenging this according to this sheet. And so I'm currently at step 11, almost at step 12 and 13, which I'm aiming to reach by this year. And I hope I'm planning to enter 14, 15 in the following few years as well. And so now step 2 is to build successful habits. And so we're going to the first core, which is to love the product. And so you say they sell it to me first. When you first do Atomy, you try to sell it to other people instead of selling to yourself. You need to first sell the products to yourself and you become someone who loves the product. And then once you're really filled with confidence and love for the product, you can share it to others. Because we're not a selling product business, and so you need to have passion for the product for other people to really see that. And so sell to yourself first, and then change your mark. And so even for us, we had a lot of Atomy products. We had RMA products. We had other home shopping products, but we switched all of them to Atomy. And so we made a determination to quickly switch. So we didn't just use all the products first that we had and then switch. We switched first and threw away all the products that we didn't need anymore. And so now compare with your existing products in your house, right? So what you're using now, what Atomy offers, and then see the benefits. And by doing that, can you compare and see whether Atomy is better or not? And that way you can give this, share this to your friends and family. And so if you compare and it's not good, then you don't have to use those. You can just return that to Atomy, right? Only use the best products that Atomy has to offer, right? Something that you're truly confident in, the products that you know that you're going to use for a lifetime. So that way you can deliver the truth and be inspirational to others about why you need to use Atomy. This is like, oh, I compared this with what I have at home, and this was so much better. So only deliver the good products that you have used. And that's the basics of starting this business. And then quickly try new products as soon as they come out, because this is a competition. We're not doing this by ourselves. We're doing it with everyone around the world, and that they're going to use the first new product and start to share. So you should be the first one to use it and then see if it's good and start to share it if it is. If you are the one behind the newest information, then you're going to be behind everyone else. And so all successful people are product lovers. And so if you try to succeed when you don't love the products, it never will happen. And so look for the 30 life products that you're going to use, at least 30 products that you're going to use from Atomy for a lifetime. And then you have to make those products your own for you to truly do Atomy efficiently. And so your goal is to secure lifelong successful assets through the product impression. And so Atomy product is the absolute product. And so if we try to use the ultimate tool with different methods, we'll never be able to succeed. And so you want to share it with the characteristics and convey the effect. So let's say you're sharing Atomy's probiotic, talk about the number of the bacteria that are healthy bacteria inside, and then the effects that it has once you consume it, like it's good for helping your digestion and things like that, and give that kind of impression. And so you need to understand the characteristics and be able to talk about it. Talk about the effects that Atomy has. And so there's going to be effects that you might have through your own experience, plus the experience of other people. And so those who love the products will be able to naturally share Atomy and it'll become their asset. And so the reason why I can saying that Atomy this is an asset is that when I first started, I used Atomy's Hemoheme and the products that I used, the makeup, I still use those stories till today. I said that even when I meet a new customer today, I talk about my wife who had cancer and how we take Hemoheme and it changed our lives. And this is what makes it real and effective. Even when I'm doing the Imperial Master Success speech, I'll still say this in front of everyone. The reason why I did Atomy, the reason why I started. And so this is so important. And so our chairman Hangil Park uses 100 different products every day. And I say he uses at least more than 100 products. And so I think that this is the successful distance. And so how many Atomy products do you use per day will determine your success. And so those who only use 10 Atomy products and those who use 100 Atomy products, it shows who will grow faster. Obviously A. And those who use at least 100 will continuously talk about their inspirations and impressions of how great the products were. And so everyone have different impressions. Like they might like Hemoheme, I like probiotics. They might like makeup, I might like the evening care set. And so everyone is different. And so you need to expand the spectrum of the products that you use so you can share with all your consumers. And so we have our product comparison table as well. So your existing products, the company that it's manufactured from, these are all something you can find online once you research your company or the product that you use, right? Being cheap is not the only comparison, right? The main ingredients, whether it's using very good ingredients or negative ingredients, toxic chemicals or not. And so if you have no product impression, then you're gonna have people who are saying like this, oh, I have no one to meet. It's not because you have no one to meet. You're not confident. When you meet them, you're not confident in sharing because you don't have any inspiration. And then when I meet someone for Atomy, you just feel like you're selling a product and you feel guilty because you don't feel any sort of inspiration or feel that passion. So you just have to sell. That's all you're left. And so you met these people and you failed a few times. Then you start to feel like they're avoiding you. And that's how there's not a lot of customers that form. And so you sign them up somehow, but they don't purchase anything and you can't even help manage them. And then obviously you end up saying that, oh, is Atomy truly working? And so the first step is that you don't use the product. And there's no impression on yourself. And that's why you can't find anyone. And that means that you're trying to farm a dry, infertile land, or you're going to a war with an empty gun, or you're a soldier without any shield or armor or sword. That's what you're doing to your business, to yourself. And so we can't let our partners go out like this. And so if someone asks you, how can I succeed in Atomy? Do not tell them to just switch one product at a time. Please tell them, make a decision from the product, use at least 20 to 30 products right away, and change your habits. And that's how they're going to be able to create their own consumers and get to the next step. You need to show them the road to success. But if you don't know the road to success, then you will just tell people to go slowly, take your time. And so once you start to compare products, you compare the products, you're going to find products that it's good for yourself, why it's good for you, why you like it, right? So the reason why for me was I love probiotics was because I had a lot of issues. And for me, I couldn't solve my issue with just one or two. I took 6 a day. The US probiotics, it's very strong, so I take about 3. And so for me, when I have acid reflux, so when I have like cold or oily food or spicy food, then I would have diarrhea or I would have a lot of gas. But every time when I feel like that, I have some probiotics. It has a really big effect. And because I continue to eat probiotics now, I don't have any of those effects anymore. And so it makes my life so much better. And so every time I meet someone, I'm like, do you have any stomach problems? And so that has become my life item. And so because of that, it makes me want to meet people every time. And so even if I go around and I meet people and they have bald spot, like, oh, are you insecure about your bald spot? Or like some people have dandruff on their shoulders. I really want to tell them and share about the opportunities. And that's the kind of person you need to become. And so I have a really great effect because of Atomy's Hengmodang, the shampoos and stuff. And so when you have that kind of uh, product love and impression and passion, then you'll just want to share it to everyone you meet on the street. And so through that, some people I share to, they're able to recover from their health. They were able to recover their hair and just really change their life. And so let's make it a mission to use at least 30 products. And so next time we're going to talk about session 3, which is to have the second core, which is the attend the meeting. And so I covered up this first core. And so hopefully we can make this into a series covering up to the 7 cores. And so with this, it could help those who are in the global English top group. It can help you guide and help you grow. And I hope to see you all here again next week as well. Thank you so much.